Hello everybody, I'm Helmy Abouleish from a biodynamic farm in Egypt, and I'm really happy to share with you some of the history of the SEKEM initiative here in Egypt. The SEKEM initiative started in 1977 with my father, late Ibrahim Abouleish, deciding that he wants to go back to his home country to contribute to the sustainable development of Egypt in 1977. In 1977, Egypt was already facing a lot of challenges, whether it is the population growth, which led Egypt to go from 7 million people in the beginning of the 20th century to 110 million today, or water scarcity. We are only having 50% of the water to feed our own population. Pollution, in a very densely populated small area around the Nile, we have all kinds of pollution. And of course, we are having a real problem that Egypt's agricultural area, 7 million acres, is nowadays populated by 7 million farming families. So each one of them has only 1 acre to survive. Having said all this, he still wanted to go back and wanted to make a contribution, and so in 1977 he decided that he will base this whole model for a system change, for a paradigm shift in Egypt on biodynamic agriculture. And he was not an expert in biodynamic agriculture, but he went to learn from biodynamic farms in Italy together with his mentor, Georg Merkens. And after seeing all these wonderful biodynamic farms in Italy, he decided this is the base on which this transition will happen. Then there was another shift he wanted to support. It was a shift in the economic system, away from the current mainstream more capitalistic economic system in Egypt. He wanted to shift it to what he called Iqtisad al-Mahabba, or economy of love. And last but not least, of course, he wanted that the whole initiative would always focus on human development, consciousness development for everyone involved, from the farmer to the consumer, all the people in the supply chain. And not only them, but also the community around, people who are not directly related to the SEKEM initiative should also be part of this bigger community and have the possibility to develop themselves. So biodynamic farming, economy of love, human development and community development, this didn't seem to be a very competitive business model for everyone who he told this, and so everyone told him this is going to be a no-go, this is a mission impossible, and so on. Now, what obviously happened, this is why I'm sitting here, in the next 40 years then to 2017, a huge miracle evolved in the desert here in Egypt, called the SEKEM initiative. And today we could transfer and convert this desert into a wonderful oasis, having all the kind of crops and plants and animals and many people working here, which makes it a real miracle in the desert. It proved that biodynamic farming is capable of converting desert and reclaiming desert perfectly. But it's also used today by thousands of farmers, smallholding farmers around the Nile, who could work in their small farms with biodynamic agriculture successfully, having better incomes, having less water consumption, and sequestering carbon instead of emitting. And not only them, but also those 2,000 co-workers here at SEKEM, who are applying the economy of love, who are taking the biodynamic products and trying to sell them mostly in the local market as food, pharmaceuticals and garments. Also, they are successful. There are a lot of competitors in the local market, and still they are able to compete, to, in some cases, even compete with multinational companies, and be market leaders in some of the segments, and prove that the economy of love is not only nicer and better and opens the possibility of development for everyone, but it's also a very competitive business model. But not only this, out of the margins and profits of this whole economic model, there is enough added value to also support the setup of the SEKEM school, for example, where hundreds of kids are educated from kindergarten to high school, to set up the Heliopolis University for Sustainable Development, where thousands of students are educated in organic farming and social entrepreneurship and many, many other topics. And even a hospital where thousands of patients from the area are treated has been set up over the last 40 years. And still, in 2017, when we asked ourselves, is this what the intention was all about? And looking to the many, many prizes we received, whether it's the Right Livelihood or the World Economic Forum's Social Entrepreneur or many, many others, it always showed that they acknowledged our model, but they acknowledged it as a lighthouse in the desert. And actually we had the feeling we need to make a next shift, a next development. We need to make sure that we don't stand there as a lighthouse in the desert, but really disseminate light into society. Really reach out to the 7 million farmers and 1.4 million teachers and 3 million entrepreneurs and so on in our country. And this is when in 2017, after my father passed away at the age of 80 and after 40 years of service at SEKEM, we at the Future Council decided that the next 40 years, we want to focus on disseminating our model into Egypt's and the world society. And we created what we called the Vision for Egypt 2057 with a lot of missions impossible attached. And we decided that we will now really follow a path to upscale this model. Let me give you one last glimpse on what we did in regard to biodynamic agriculture. When we started and asked ourselves, hey, how can we mainstream biodynamic agriculture in Egypt? The major obstacle, of course, was higher prices. As everywhere else, as in Italy and in the whole world, biodynamic products are considered expensive and hence are part of this 2% niche of organic and biodynamic products. But when we studied the reality of prices applied to cost accounting as developed by the FAO, then we quickly found out that this is not true. Biodynamic products are in fact cheaper if you factor in externalized costs and hidden costs. And so we first of all established the fact that we are not more expensive. We are cheaper, more efficient, more productive, more profitable. The problem is this doesn't show in the shelf of the supermarket. So we were searching for ways, how can we really come into the market with the real price? And there, the IPCC helped us out. The IPCC is the International Panel for Climate Change, which in 2019 brought out a report where it basically said agriculture is a big part of the problem of climate change because everyone in agriculture emits tons and gigatons of CO2, but it has the potential to sequester a lot of CO2. And so we did follow up on this hint, and we found out that yes, indeed, in Egypt, every smallholder farmer on his half hectare could sequester or avoid the emittance of up to 6 tons of CO2 per year. And if we can supply him with carbon credits for this, this would represent an additional income of up to 150 euros per half a hectare or 300 euros per hectare, which indeed would switch his life situation and give him more income than for most of the crops he already has. We use this to upscale it first to 2,000 farmers. Currently, we're upscaling it to 40,000 farmers. We are already dreaming about 250,000 farmers, and ultimately, of course, until 2057, we want to reach the 7 million farmers of Egypt with this model, that they go to biodynamic farming, they have a better income through the ecosystem services they are providing for climate change, they provide the consumers in Egypt with healthy biodynamic products, and they mitigate climate change. This is a model which we believe can be applied everywhere in the world, and we are very, very happy that after this 100 years now of biodynamic farming, we can also look into the next 100 years with a strong, optimistic view that biodynamic farming can contribute to system change in agriculture in Egypt and in the world. And we were very happy that this year, for the first time in our history, we received an award, the Gulbenkian Award, which was handed over by former German Chancellor Angela Merkel, for this model of upscaling biodynamic farming into the world.